Welcome to this special edition of the Marriage and Relationship Academy, hosted by GSW. This 3-day event offers insightful, practical, and pragmatic sessions dedicated to exploring all facets of marriage and relationships. These sessions are designed to provide you with the wisdom necessary to navigate and discern the realities of relationship from both a spiritual and horizontal perspective. You can anticipate gaining significant clarity regarding your unique marital and relationship journey. Join us and be blessed.
As we go into this class, Father, let the impartation of wisdom beyond words, the spirit of wisdom come upon everyone, that they may see clearly and they may make the right choices. Thank you, Father, for your word is here, and it is amen. For in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Welcome everybody to day one of our Marriage and Relationship Academy. Now, being here today, there are options that will be available after the class. I'm not one of those ministers who take divorce off the table. I've never been like that. I do not have a doctrine that relates to that. So you are not hemmed in. I do not want anybody here to think, oh, I'm hemmed in. I'm logged in from the right, from this left. I cannot leave, and yet because if I leave, I'll go to hell. That is a lie. All those ones, those kind of talks, they are not in any way from God. However, you should understand that if you need to change, it is wiser to change than to throw tantrums and leave a union. Change is, we all change. In fact, we change for our children. We change. We willingly subject ourselves to a series of changes for the sake of our children. When you give out to children, you deliberately leave the things you love. You begin to watch cartoons with them. All parents do it. It seems to me sometimes that we all show more love to our children than we show to our partners. So that option to leave is on the table. The option to remain single is also on the table. To remain single and be dignified without any shame. You do not owe anybody any form of pressure. If that is what works for you, that is you. That option is also on the table. To be single. The option to be a single parent is also on the table. That you are single does not mean you do not have a right to reproduce yourself or to have children. That option is also on the table. No option is taken away from this table. We are going to just look at all the options. But first, we'll start with knowing ourselves. A lot of us, when we got married, we didn't pay attention to ourselves, our nature. So when the Lord would teach me about marriage, and it took his time, he showed me two kinds of stone. When I was young, many of you remember this, if you are born in Africa, we have this stone, most of us have them at home, that they used to grind pepper. Some of them are molded with cement, and some are broken out of rocks. And so the Lord showed me two kinds of stones. And the Lord said to me, see this stone, it represents you. This stone, this is you. He said in the scriptures, I told the elders of Israel that they must build my altar with uncut stones. Uncut stones means natural stones that has not been touched or altered by any man. That means nobody took a chisel, a hammer to try to shape it. You must not shape it. The way it has been formed, that's how you must use it to build the altar of God. That was the instruction God gave in the Old Testament about building his altar. Uncut stones, untouched, the way it is naturally, that's what I used to build my altar. And that's all of us. When we are born, we were born the way God wanted us to be, programmed us to be 100% the hand of God upon us. However, human influence, teachings, uh, pressure groups, parental teaching, culture, tradition, religion are natural shapers. They will alter this stone. So they would try to make it fit into society. So they will see a girl that is behaving in a certain way. They will tell her, no, don't do that. Girl does not behave like that. No, don't do this. Girl does not behave like that. Some ladies, they take to the training and they alter. It changes them. Some rebel against it. Some men also, they rebel against it. They say like Esau, they find their path. Say, no, I don't want any, don't do that. I want to do things my way. And that speaks to the individuality of every one of us. Not all of us are going to toe the line of the crowd. And God does not mind. God said, this is how I've made you. This is how I want you to be before me. Which is why uncut stones are allowed to come to God and serve as the basis of his altar, the way they were made. However, when it comes to marriage, you cannot be an uncut stone because marriage requires a lot of alteration. You will change and adapt to the other person. The other person will change and adapt to you. See, you will change and adapt. You would have to alter yourself. The second thing that is important is that not all of us are born into the same kind of um, environment and system. Sometimes I see people talking about marriage, and those who are not supposed to even be thinking that way, they're also thinking that way. I'm quick to say to them that no, 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 you cannot think like this. When you see people talking about, me and my husband, we will be doing 50-50. There are some people that, by virtue of how you are born and how God has blessed you, you cannot have that kind of thinking. That kind of thinking is for a particular class of society. There's nothing wrong with being in that class. It's just important that if you don't know yourself, you'll be thinking the kind of thoughts that you're not supposed to be thinking. There's no business a woman or a man who is born into a good home and who has a good job, who is earning enough money to take care of his life, of meeting his needs, of meeting her needs, either male or female now. You have no business thinking like, my husband will give me 50, I will bring 40, my husband will give me 30, I will bring 20. That thinking is for those who belong to the CD class, where the husband and wife are struggling and where they do not have the benefits of royalty. So some of us, we have categorized ourselves into the wrong class of society. And so when you see people talking and you don't be influenced, it's the royal class is supposed to influence the lower classes. However, I see that maybe because the lower classes have a lot of people, and so they used to have a lot of following. They will have maybe 1,000 read, 8,000 read, 7,000 read, 20,000 followers, or 20,000 comments. Then we tend to then think in our heart that that is where wisdom is. No, 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 no. Please, the reason you are royalty is because you are not common, you are not plenty. There is a way royalty must think. So sometimes I will see, I got a call from my, I think she will be on this call now, a sister, and she told me that her husband, he was not bringing money, he was not doing this, and so she didn't like it. And then that was how she parted ways with him. And I said, how much were you earning? And she said, oh, God has blessed me. I'm very comfortable. I said, like, how much? Like how rich are you? And when she mentioned the figure, I said, you have no business thinking like this. Yeah, you have no business thinking like this. You cannot be somebody that is worth hundreds of millions. You are thinking like those who are struggling to make 2 million naira a year. You have put the wrong mindset in your head. Like it is you and your husband. It is me and my wife, for example, or me and the husband and his wife. You are in the house. You have all the money in the world to live a good life together. How does it even ring in your head that he's not bringing anything? What he has brought to you is joy, is companionship, is he has brought to you himself to live life with you. So again, if both of you are struggling and he's not sitting at home, he's not going to work, and there is no food at home, you can think that way. But when there is surplus, the problem is how to spend the surplus, who to spend it with, who to make memories with. The problem is not who is bringing the money, but you thinking. She had lost this man. The man had left. She's alone. She was not crying to me, but I think I was looking at her. I'm lonely. I'm lonely. I'm like, you had a companion. You had somebody that loved you, that was doing life with you. And you chased him away because you are saying that you are the one providing. What kind of thinking? Like, oh yeah, go and use your money to buy company now. There's nobody she would date now that the person would not require money of her. If she takes a lover, the person will just be using her for money. Person may be sleeping with her well, but the person will be collecting money from her. If she marries a man now, another man, she will not be sure if the man is marrying her for her money for herself, and she surely wouldn't meet a rich man to marry her. Rich men are married already. Have you ever seen anybody leaving a rich man, leaving a rich man stranded on the road and saying that oh nobody wants to marry him? No, a rich man, all the available rich men who are straight that I know are married. When one of them maybe gets divorced or widowed, if you see the way, if you see the way uh, ladies would, the way they would sandwich the person, the person will marry quickly. I'm not kidding. I can name names, but I do not have time. So responsible rich men are married. So if God has blessed you as a woman and you have the resources, think like royalty. Don't be one of those people that think gutter thoughts and like, hey, I'm the one feeding him. Don't. People that can talk like that are the bread sellers who are dating Okada riders or those who are struggling financially. They can talk like that. You understand that the money is important to their existence, to their survival. Either you are male or female. It is when somebody who belongs to the AB class begins to think like somebody who belongs to the CD class, you then have identity crisis. I cannot imagine anybody that has sense, who is making good money, who is complaining about money. No, your complaint is, okay, I have money now. How do I spend it? How do I make memories of this money? How do I make life? How do I not just park the money somewhere and then be living a stingy life? No, so I know a lot of ladies who have money, then they will go hide it. They will then be living on very small amount of money, hoping that they will meet one guy who has money. That kind of thinking has to stop. You Africans especially, where our marriages are skewed towards poverty thinking. And I speak as one who has seen white people's relationship. I have friends all over the world, and I've seen even single people in Europe, in London, all over. I've seen the way they date. It is only in Africa that people are always like conscious of, so everybody's conscious of poverty so much. Every aspect of their life is basically radiating or revolving around what you bring to the table. Money. Well, yeah. It is just poverty that is dominating our thinking. You go to any church and they are talking about marriage, all the ladies tend towards, when will you start giving money? When can I collect gifts? When it is you are just poor. However, I agree that poverty is prevalent in our land. But if God has blessed you, you have enough money to rent an accommodation, you have enough money in the bank to feed, you do not need to have that kind of a mindset. Jettison that thought, take it away from your mind. That mindset does not belong to you anymore. Now, the problem you will have is to make sure you choose somebody who will be with you, who will not sabotage you mentally, emotionally, financially, who wouldn't see you as, who wouldn't be a parasite that will see you and want to suck you dry. That is the only thing that is. So you're even better off than most other people. Your criteria is better. All you have to do is have a good thinking, reasonable partner, either male or female, whose concern for you will be that you continue to prosper. You know, whose concern for you will be to continue to prosper. Who would see you spend money and say, hey, you are spending too much? Who wouldn't be coming to you with, give me this, give me that every day, trying to suck you dry? No, because again, those are the things. When we think like paupers, when we are rich, we do not pay attention to the right kind of person that we should have in our life. The way we think determines how we see life and how we then address issues relating to marriage and relationship. So some of us, because we are thinking like paupers, will attract poor people who will go choose people who are not supposed to be in our world. Those one will then come into our world and they'll be like, wow, that girl is so rich. In fact, I will chop everything I can chop. No, it is because you chose from the wrong class. That one has never seen well before. It's not greed. If you do it also in England, you will see why they do not allow royalty to marry common people. Because common people are alien to wealth. They will see you put a gold chandelier in your sitting room. They'll be like, hey, that money can feed 1 million people. You are putting it in your sitting room. Then they will come to your dressing room. They will see, I used to work with a boss who had gold sink in his bathroom. His bathroom is sink is made of gold, not plated. It is gold, and he bought it for a lot of money in foreign currency. And his wife, when they came to install this, his wife said, when he washed his hand here, will the water be flowing to heaven? And everybody laughed because she was wondering why he could do that. But it betrays to you the kind of thinking. If he had married a woman who came from a wealthy background, similar background to himself, that one will see it as normal. Every time we would talk after that, the wife will always refer to that sink. The wife will say, we have a sink at home. In fact, because of that sink alone, how many may come to our house? There is no need. She will be the one talking about it. It was because of her programming. She was poor inside, poor in her mind. So I've seen a lot of poor people around me also do that. And they will see you buy a new car. Instead of them to say congratulations, they say, what do you need a new car for? Why is it your money? Hey, the money can feed 10,000 people. Did Judas not say the same thing to Jesus? When they came to give Jesus an alabaster box, what did Judas say? Judas said, the money can be used to feed the poor. That's how poor people, that's how they think. So when you talk like that, it is not that you are smart. It is that something is wrong with your thinking. And the others have left you behind because poor people will not buy a sink of $250,000. A man must have gotten comfortable to a point in his life before he could venture into buying something like that. The man he will have attained something in his life where he can buy a Rolls Royce. To a poor person, a Rolls Royce is a waste of money. But because he's poor, that's why he's thinking like that. So you cannot be rich and be thinking like a poor person and be saying that the things that are supposed to give you status in life, you don't want them. At the same time, you cannot be a rich woman and be saying that I'm looking for a man that is richer than me to marry me. You must really be unserious with your life. So you are like, I'm worth 300 million, I'm worth 400 million. You have your money in investment, you have a good life, and then you are waiting for somebody that has 1 billion to come and marry you. What is wrong with you? Or that has 10 billion. Say no, you must have a house in London, you must have a house you are not serious. Why you will not choose somebody that does not have sense, who will just come into your life and be plotting how to kill you so that he can inherit your money? That's what you don't want. But you are going to marry from a decent place where the man is not going to be all the person's concern is just for you to be happy, your welfare, your well-being, your that you may be more productive. And you also will be with the person for the same reason. And money has become immaterial. So if you are here, you belong to that class, that's how you think. I had to set one of my sisters straight one day. I had to give her a call for over 2 hours. Because one of the things she said to me, I was like, no, 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 you are beyond this. I know how rich you are. I know how rich you are. I know your inheritance. I know your work. I know you are rich. Personally, individually, you are rich. How can you be saying that, a husband, I don't, his contract is not doing well? I said, well, will you shut your mouth and don't stop thinking like a gutter person? You have houses, you have food. He is not sitting at home, he's working. If he's struggling financially, it's not supposed to be an issue because it's not as if you're expecting him to feed you. You just encourage him. You are there for him. That you are there for him. You do everything good with him, and you are happy. So you then notice the disparity because poor people are usually a lot of black people are poor all over the world. So you notice how them Serena Williams and the Venus how they graciously went to marry white folks, and people did not understand. White people don't really make money the emphasis of their life the way black people do. We blacks believe so much in money, but white people believe in happiness. They believe in making each other happy. They believe in vacations, in doing things, and they can afford to do these basic things without stress. They don't have to beg. For some of them, will take loan. They will spend their credit card to go to Dubai, but they will do that because it's part of their system. While we all just want to just because we have so much poverty consciousness. So if God has blessed you, address your thinking according to the blessings of the Lord and gain clarity today. Gain clarity today. When you have clarity, you will no longer attract the wrong kind of people. You will make up your mind to live a good, happy, fulfilling life, and it wouldn't bother you. See, uh, like the sister I said called me, I asked her two questions. I said, when you are cooking before, how many people do you cook for? She said, oh, it's me, my husband, and my daughter. My daughter is now married. So when I cook for two. Now the husband has left. I said, so how many people do you still cook for? She said, I still cook for two. I said, so who is the other one? And then she kept quiet. Because it will have done her a world of good to have that companionship. It will make her live longer. She will not be prone to depression. She will not be afraid of her own house because she has company. She will have somebody to lean on his shoulder when they go to church. She will have somebody to do Ashwebi and uncle with, somebody to, she has somebody to share life with and not be all alone. But because she was thinking way, way, way the way she shouldn't be thinking, she threw away that blessing of God. Yes, the man was not making big money. Maybe he wasn't even making any money, but it wasn't, the man was not a loafer. He wasn't one of those who just want to sit around and be spending your money. No, he has a job, yeah, but he just couldn't match you in riches. That is not good enough a reason for you to shun the relationship. So a lot of people who God has blessed in Nigeria, in Africa, the way they think about these things is wrong. So adjust, gain clarity and adjust your thinking. Do not make money your focus. While I'm moving now to address those who are in the CD class. So those who are in the CD class of society are those who are struggling financially. They came from poor backgrounds and where they are in life now, maybe husband and wife together, they are aspiring to do better, So they are what we call the less than average family. There are a lot of people in this pool, and many of them, many of the females in this pool tend to want to marry upward. They want to marry those who are in the class above because it will give them a life of ease. While the men in this group also want to marry either from this pool or downward because again they are afraid that if they choose to marry somebody that has more money than them, that the women will just begin to rubbish them. So women, like I said earlier, in Africa, because we lay emphasis on money, it affects how we treat people, how we respect people. A lot of people, if you don't have money, they will not respect you. They would they would just dismiss you. They would do it in public, they would do it in private, simply because they have money. So, and that is as a result of our poverty orientation. You will never see uh, those who are not blacks behave that way. They don't, because really money is not really that important in their thinking, but it is important in ours. So because of that, the men are afraid that if they marry a girl who earns more than them, automatically the lady will begin to rubbish them, the lady will insult them. If they date a girl that is of a higher class than them, the girl's family will rubbish them, the girl's family will do this. So because of that, the men would rather marry somebody of that same class or go a bit downward and marry somebody who they can then have more money than. So imagine somebody earning 200,000 a month, uh, trying to find a wife, and then the person will go for a fresh copper, or somebody that just finished NYSC, or somebody that just finished learning a trade, or a fresh graduate who will be earning 100, 150, and then they will be able to say, I'm the one providing. And that has affected uh, and tainted the waters of our dating pool for many years. Again, for those in this category, goodwill is important. A determination to work together to build upward. This kind of relationship can only work when the two people will come together, sit down, and make practical decisions. The man in this situation shouldn't be the one saying to the wife, ah, uh, you are going to cook. You have a duty to cook when both of you are working. Both of you are working, you both live in the house, you both come out back at night. Then whoever gets home first can as well make dinner. You shouldn't pretend that because you are the man, automatically you don't belong to the first class. In the first class, for example, where the man may be rich and he may marry a woman who is a housewife. I told you money doesn't matter here in that first class. The woman may say, okay, what am I contributing? Or the man may say, what am I contributing to this woman's life? This woman has the house, she has all the money, she's taking care of all the bills. Okay, since she's the one bringing in the money, let me give her comfort. Let me make sure that I plan our holidays. Let me make sure that I oversee the domestic staff. At least let me, that way they have a balance. In this case, because of their economic situation, there is no need for the man to have, what is the use of the ego when it is not as if you are really providing? Because if you are really providing, that woman will not be working. That's the truth. But since both of you are working, then your thinking has to, you have to again model your thinking and think, okay, this is the practical way to do things. Not that you say this is our traditional way to do things. So when people say my father did it this way, my father was a teacher, and then my mother will sit down, and then my father will be running about, or my mother will, no. In this case, all hands on deck. Why? You have rent to pay, you have school fees to pay, you have roles, and both of you must work together. You must be deliberate about it. Working together, cohesion. And this is not the time you start trying to cheat. No, because when there is no enough resources, uh, and then I hear somebody is cheating, I used to shake my head. I wonder, where did he get the where did he get the money to pursue that from? Because you have to take that money out of scarce resources. Cheating is expensive. It's always an expensive venture, always. And so that is not those in that class again. When you tailor your mind and say, hey, this is where I am in life. Myself and my wife are building together. In order to build together, you have to be precise. You have to be together. You have to be concise. Both of you have to work together. And that means you will not sit down and begin to throw ego here and there. So you can see how then those in that class can come online and you can see the females in that class always talking about the females in that class are always talking about resources. What did you bring? A man must provide workings, doings, and things like that. It is because that's the class they came from. That's the class they came from. Poor to average, less than average classes, and they also want the good things of life. And there is nobody in this life, in this world, who can actually live a good life without money. Nobody. Money is essential to living the good life. It doesn't matter whether you are stoic or you are born again or you are full of Holy Ghost or you speak in tongues. If you don't have money, your dreams will die. You need money to fulfill your dreams. You need money to live a comfortable life. You need money to live a good life. You need money. Tongues will not pay the bill. That's the truth. And so many people then realize that, okay, we need money. The problem is, instead of putting to use the ability of God in them to then bring the money forth, and that will require a lot of discipline, a lot of deliberate planning and execution. They will look at somebody like some other people who are up there and they want to live the people's lifestyle when they are still struggling. So when I was a PA, I had this my boss who I told you bought a gold wash basin, hand wash basin. Uh, he had a driver, and one day I noticed that the driver was getting calls, and I said, I called him. What's wrong? He said, it's my girlfriend, and he was married. I said, you have a girlfriend? He said, yes. How much is your salary? 54,000. You are earning 54,000. You have a wife. You have a girlfriend. And he said, oh, not one girlfriend, though. I have more than one. I said, why? He said, can't you see our boss? Our boss also has girlfriends. I said, you are comparing somebody who perhaps earns 52 million a month with you, 52,000 naira a month. 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 52,000 naira a mon Are you for real? Like, you want to live is I told you, I said, no wonder your children are living with your with your auntie. You can't feed your children. And this is where you're diverting your money to. So you see the problem there. It's that people, people do not understand themselves and their circumstances or situation so that they can then apply themselves to those circumstances the right way. Now, it is true that uh, a lot of us in the pursuit of money, we make a lot of decisions. For example, all the couples that are living in Nigeria, traveling abroad, they are not doing it. Uh, They are not really doing it because they they do not like the country of their birth. They do it for opportunities. They do it for money. They do it for money. They do it for opportunities. And because they do it for money and opportunities, it then to affect their relationships. It affects their marriages, affects their family life. So in the pursuit of the one thing that everybody really wants, the thing that they want to use it to satisfy, they spoil it. Because I can't imagine having money and then not having access to my children or not having my wife anymore. Okay, so what is the point of having one at the expense of the others? If you want to live a completely fulfilled life, you want to make money so that that money can serve your interests, so that that money can give your children a good life, it can give you a joyful life with your partner. So a lot of us, again, we do not balance these things. You begin to see people talking about traveling. Yeah, essentially, they will say, oh, better life out there, greener pasture. We are going to Europe, we are going to America. And in doing these things, they are going to fracture their family, split their family into bits, and everybody will cheer them on. You know those who cheer them on? I'm telling you the truth. They are poor parents. I don't cheer anybody on to travel. The reason I don't cheer people on to travel is because I believe sincerely that anybody that is full of the Holy Spirit has the power of God at work in them. Wherever you are, you will prosper there. I believe that with all my heart. Do not believe in following trends of people to run. No, 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 no. I believe that with all my heart. But you see, poor parents, that was a case recently. It was a very funny case. This sister is in America, has been there for some time, has gotten a tenure as a lecturer and all that. And she needed a husband. And she reached out with prayer and all that. She met a man that is established in Nigeria. The man is doing very well for himself, has businesses that are doing well in Nigeria, has houses, has everything a man may want. And then this sister came down to Nigeria, came to meet him, and they were talking. And one of her conditions was that the guy must relocate to America. I told the man to run. She's going to bring a poverty-infested reality and ruin every good thing you have built for yourself in Nigeria. Because a lot of women push their husbands to do this, and then they turn the husband to ground zero. He will sell his houses, sell his property, everything he had, he will sell with the hope that when they get abroad, they will make the money. I've seen so many people that as soon as they travel, they couldn't come back here because they had nothing. And when they are there, they get stuck there because they realize that the opportunities are not that much. So when people say, oh, we will travel, you must travel. I'm in Japan, you must relocate to Japan with me. I mean, don't fall for that. If you are also struggling, your family is struggling, and both of you are single, relocate. If you have to relocate, leaving your family behind, it is a bad idea. No matter how much you may be under financial pressure, it's a very bad idea to leave your family behind. Eventually, you realize that Leaving your family behind will lead you down certain streets that you don't want to go to. Either the male or the female. Of course, there are some women that if the husband travels, they will be faithful. But it's not all women that will be faithful. And it's not all men who travel that are going to be faithful. It's the truth. If you see a husband and a wife who actually lived apart for many years and both of them are faithful, it is one in a million. And that is the truth. There are so many secrets that people are going to take to their grave that they wouldn't share with us. But we know, because we're also in this life, that the truth is the truth. You cannot live abroad for 10, 15 years, either as a man, as a woman, in your most productive sexual years, and you are going to say, I'm faithful. I didn't touch anybody. Only a few can say that. And that is the truth. So, because of that, you shouldn't then fracture your family, destroy your family in the name of economic keys. I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. Because at the end of the day, you might not even have the money, but let's say you get the money. To what end? You will then have to marry another wife. And then she who didn't struggle with you will be the one to then enjoy the fruits or the benefits thereof. Or you have to marry another husband, and he who you didn't grow with will be the one to then have mercy on you. And that is the irony of it, because people on our side of the divide are always money conscious. It's always about money. And it is important that we begin to shelve this mindset. Now, as a couple, I'm moving to emotional issues now because I intended to address the issues. First, self-awareness. Second, the prevalent issues of poverty and how it affects the thinking. And the third point, I'm going to emotional issues. So it seems to me like we all forget how emotions work. We all forget how emotions work. And as a result of that, we allow it to have so much power. It's like wildfire. So it burns so passionately and so strongly. And oftentimes emotion will burn and then it will die. It is not a consistent river. It's like it will just boom out. And then it will eventually calm and then it will go away. So nobody can sustain, except the person is demonic. You can't sustain anger for maybe more than a week. You shouldn't be able to sustain it for up to a day. You should be angry for a bit and forget about it. That's the truth. A person who is sane, somebody may provoke you, but for you to stay angry for 1 week, you are a very malicious person, or you have a lot of traumatic issues you need to deal with. Nobody should be able to stay angry. You may be doing silent treatment for 1 week. I'm going to talk about that. So again, you may be doing silent treatment for 1 week. You may be keeping malice for 1 week, but to stay angry for a whole week, it's almost impossible. That will give you strong. That to me, you have a mental issue. That's what it will mean. To mean that person has a mental problem. Nobody stays angry for a whole week. I'm a jealous person. I'm a jealous person. Okay, so both of you and your husband, or you and your wife, I don't want this thing. I don't want this thing. And then you talk about it. Then in the next 1 hour, you are laughing again. You are laughing again. That is how it's supposed to be. But we allow emotion to rule. The Bible is so smart. The Bible said about those who allow their emotions to rule them. I can give you a list of them. Esau, for example, he was hungry. And some of you may think, oh, hungry is a physical thing. It's also an emotional thing. And he was offered something that is not for sale in exchange for a morsel of bread. And he took the offer. And the Bible recorded that he disdained his birthright. Samson, emotion. Who will stay in the bed with a woman for 1 week? You will be tired. Would you even stay for 7 hours? The one you're not married to? It won't be. Maybe if it's an all-night sleep, but you won't be in bed all the time. Emotion has the power and the capacity to ruin all the things that logic has built for many days or many years. A man and woman will come together, they will fall in love, they'll begin to build their life. And they'll be doing this deliberately, deliberately. And suddenly, one event, one outburst of anger, one snide remark, one joke that will go wrong, and the emotion will take over. Which is why marriage is not for the for those who are not childlike. Children are better at handling emotional issues. When they are crying, tell them, stop crying, I don't like it. They would swallow it. Adults would basically make a minced meat out of issues, and the problem of resentment then sets in. A lot of us here who are dealing with one issue or the other in our marriages, the foundation of that is resentment. We have forgotten how to forgive. When I talk to couples and they talk to me, some will start their story from 2007. Imagine that you want to counsel a couple, and the husband said, but this thing started September 1, 2007. And the wife will say, it's not true. It's September 3, 2005. And they will then start telling you the story from 2005 up until when they will catch up in 2025. And then I would then usually have to tell them, it is true that you are not paying me for my time. I'm here to help you settle an issue. But do you really expect me to sit down for 4 hours listening to issues between you and your husband, a recap of your entire misadventure and bitter history? You expect me to sit down and you'll be telling me the story from 2005? So then, in the course of that discussion, they will say, we went to see our pastor. Our pastor talked to us. We went to see our parents. Our parents spoke to us. We went to see his parents. His parents spoke with us. We went to see one other marriage counselor. We have done therapy 3 times. Which then means that rather than those interventions to help them forgive each other, heal, and move on, they are just piling up those interactions. Like they are just piling up offenses. So even the interactions that are supposed to help them forgive each other and and be free of the burden, they will just add it as so we went to see pastor this, we went to see prophet that, we also went to see pastor that. I say, you've seen so many pastors, and yet did they not tell you to forgive each other? Of course they did. They don't tell you to kiss and make up. Of course they did. Were you not having children in the midst of this? Of course you did. You forgive each other. You will have sex. You will cook for each other. You will eat. You will take each other to church. You will make babies. You will have children. And yet you will still remember the offense. That's terrible. Terrible. It's a terrible wiring. Same thing with husband and wife having issues, and then wife putting, or both of them putting, recording whatever on their phones, so that they now begin to record the husband's conversations, and then they record the wife's conversations, and they keep the record of this on their phone. Okay, what are you planning to use it for? It basically means the marriage is over. You are trying to pile up evidence that you want to play to people to justify you leaving the marriage. That's what it means. How do you do that? How do you do that to somebody that you claim to love? That you are just going to like, oh, okay, I will record evidence against you. I will record evidence against you. I will make sure that the whole world knows what is going on. This is a case. Why? Why? Already, that is the terrible. Already, that is a problem. Already, that is a problem. And every one of us here should understand that the moment we begin to think that way, that the marriage is already dead. The reason I begin to begin to make a record of wrongs, take a picture, take a video, record his voice, she records my voice. Okay, that already means, to be candid, that both of us are no longer in love. We are now in a relationship that is terrible. We are now in a relationship that is terrible and that we shouldn't be in. That's what it means. And that then means we should help ourselves. We should help ourselves and tell ourselves the truth. That if I get to the point where I begin to gather evidence against this man, if I ever find myself at that point where I'm gathering evidence against this man or this woman, then basically the marriage is dead. Trust has only one life. Mistrust has several. And so it is important that between ourselves, we tell ourselves the truth. Do I want to be married? Yes. Am I ready for the forgiveness that it entails? The forgiveness and forgetting that it entails. Am I ready for the sacrifice that marriage requires? Am I ready? It is important to look at it that way. Marriage is a good thing. It's a glorious institution. But if I am somebody that cannot forgive easily, I shouldn't be married. I shouldn't want to be married. That's the truth. And that's why I said, don't take all the options off the table. Don't take all the options. Don't tell yourself, oh, because of my indoctrination, because of how I was raised. When you look at yourself, you say, hey, Benga, you don't have the temperament to live with anybody. Oh. Some of us know it. Our parents will tell us, the way this girl, yeah, you are very malicious. Your husband, they will be telling you from childhood, this guy, no, no, no. If I have a daughter, I will not allow my daughter to marry you because of how you conduct yourself. So we see the assessment all the time. So you have to sit down and look at yourself and say, okay, do I really want to be married? Marriage surely will test us. Our partner will do something we don't like. The other partner will do something we don't like. We would have a serious, we will have to adjust. But you see, it is either you adjust or you adjust. It is that you adjust into the marriage or you adjust outside the marriage. But adjustment is it's inevitable. You will have to adjust. And this goes to my next point, which is psychology of marriage. The male and female psychology, when it comes to marriage, are two different psychologies. The way a woman sees marriage and the way a man sees marriage are not the same. When I hear narratives like a woman would born children for you, I laugh. 99% of the time, when women come for prayers for children, they want to give birth to the children for themselves. I know more husbands that trouble me for children in a year that will come and say, "But please, we want a baby, maybe 10." Ladies that want to have children, I can thousands. I mean, it is one of the basic things that we should do for ourselves. It's not live in a bubble and lie and no. It's just tell ourselves the truth. This is what I want. You don't need to say somebody else wants it. I'm just doing him a favor. No. If you want to have children as a woman, you must own it. Okay, I want to have children. And I want my children to have the name of their father. I don't just want to have children. It is important to tell yourselves the truth. I want to be a mother. There's nothing wrong with that. You are biologically wired to desire that and to have that and to want it. There's no crime in that. Using that to then pursue financial gain is again from a poverty mindset. You must give me push gifts. So men are when you see poor people, when they are giving each other stuff, don't be envying. Don't be looking at it and saying, I want that. It is a gain from poverty. When people in the ghetto, so one day they invited me to come and name a baby at a ghetto. I don't want to name the ghetto in Lagos because some problem from them may be here. So they invited me to come name a baby there. So I went there. I sat there. I saw their culture, how they do their things. I saw the way they cook their rice. When I left, I didn't eat. I didn't envy them. So there are some things they did that, wow, nice, commendable. I never adopted it. I never said, oh, okay, I must bring this from the trenches into my life. No, 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 no. If anybody did a video, oh, my wife gave birth to a baby, I went to buy iPhone 17. And then you to say, oh, when I have a baby, my husband will buy me iPhone 17. You are poor. It is a result of your mind. You have a mind that is poor. That is absolutely not acceptable. You must eschew poverty from your mind, absolutely from your mind. Once somebody is poor in their mind, give them the whole world, they will turn into dust. A person with a rich mind will turn little into plenty. So you must always remember that all the fads and all the things that they are doing in the EF class to make themselves happy, they are not your concern. You shouldn't adopt them into your mindset. And that again goes for all the billing things that the average Nigerian woman would be doing. You met a man, and the next thing, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And some people will say, no, you must know that you can provide. My God, if it has to be physical money that somebody needs to show you to show you can provide, you are a very poor person. It shows you lack discernment, you lack the ability to look at the man and see his future and see his future. Because it is on future that we premise all marriages. What is my life going to be with you in 15 years, in 20 years, in 30 years, in 40 years? We are going on a journey together. Do you have the capacity to go on this journey with me? So we actually value marriage based on the kind of future we are going to have together. But if you are building the person now, it is the present, basically trenches, basically poverty. You meet somebody, and the next thing you get a message. My birthday is next tomorrow. Oh. My birthday is next tomorrow. Basically, because the person just wants you to give them a gift. That's because the person is poor. Hey, next thing, I'm hungry. Or I don't have a charge card. Oh, you call somebody, the person said, oh, I did not pick your call. Then later you call, say, I didn't pick, I could have called back, but I don't have card. What are you doing with such a person? What are you doing with such a person? As soon as you begin to see such traits, no matter how beautiful the person is, you are going to say, come, sit down. You are going to have a discussion with the person. If the person does not change, you are going to say, no, this is not for me. Do not mind. Anybody that behaves, it will affect everything, to color everything in your life. So, women are not supposed to see men as hosts, and men are not supposed to see women as parasites. But that's what I see everywhere when people talk, when they are writing online, when they are doing showings, doings. They will now show a girl broke up with a guy. The guy goes to her house to go carry out his TV, his bed, carry everything he bought for her. You see now, it is transactional relationship all through. Again, that is poverty. That is poverty. When you see poverty in its manifestation, don't don't admire it. Don't see it as something to do or to comment on. I ignore such things. I absolutely, it is an anathema to me. People are doing poor stuff, doing poor stuff. You are very healthy. So you are a woman, you are working, you have your rent to pay. Lady, pay it. If you didn't meet a man, you will pay your rent. Now, as soon as you met the man, what comes to your head is, I don't want to spend my money. Let this guy I just met come and pay my bill to show me that he loves me. You are poor. That is not how we put, not what we put our men through. We don't become Pharaoh and turn them to slaves to prove love. That's not the right thinking. If you allow a man think like that, if you put a man through that, the consequence of it is that all he will want from you is sex. He will see sex as a just payment for his labor. See? And so you see 99% of the time when pastors are preaching in church and they're telling ladies, oh, keep yourself, keep yourself. But the lady is busy billing a guy. Yeah, well, how will she keep herself? Because as soon as you begin to bill him, you begin to open your leg gradually to him. That is the mentality of it. Only a few women will say, I collected something from a guy and then I was able to escape. Even that is stealing. That is stealing. Say, oh, I didn't sleep with him. When you hear that, you mean that what she's saying is that I knew in my mind, in my psychology, I knew from the moment I started billing him that he would require sex of me. That he didn't get the sex means that I got away. You see, I got away. That is the mindset. That means in her head she had equated sex with the gift. And that mindset is awful and terrible. But if you meet a man, you go out, you pay all this, I go on a date, man. If a man likes you, you don't even need those kind of discussion. Even when he doesn't have anything, he will wear his old coat. He will go and iron it, he will wear it. He will look for money, he will borrow from his friend, from his He will borrow. I'm not kidding. He will borrow. Because he wants, he wants to appear correct. He wants to appear right. He wouldn't come on a date so that he can feed off you. No, if you behave well, he behaves well. Both of you, no matter how little you have, you will know that, okay, we are doing this together. You will have conversations. So nowadays, I notice that a lot of people, they have phones, they have communication gadgets, but they don't have real conversations. When we were young and we were dating years ago, we used to have conversations. We used to do midnight call. When there was, before these phones came, when there was analog phone, ah, people used to call on those phones and have conversations, to talk. You need to talk. Couples need to talk, not chat. There is something the voice of your husband and the voice of your wife or the voice of the person you want to marry does to you, not chat, voice. So nowadays people chat a lot. They just be typing, but there is no voice in their head. That's just their own voice because they are reading the chat. So it's their own voice they keep hearing, and therefore it grows into self. They are always into self because it is their voice they are hearing consistently. However, some of us here, we know the voice of our mother. When your mother speaks, your mother is in America or London or in the village, and you are in London, America or the village, or you are in Lagos, and you want to do something, you will hear the voice of your mother and say, no, my mother will beat me. And then you turn away. Why? Because you know the voice of your mother. Bible says Adam had a relationship with the voice of God. The voice of God will come to him in the evening. The voice, not the chat of God. So you must talk, not small talks about what's your favorite color, what is your date of birth. Those ones maybe in the beginning get to know each other like that, but usually you should have talks. You know, the philosophy behind the relationship is that there is a merger of two minds, a merger of two minds. What basically lives in our minds are building blocks made of words and thoughts. It means I'm merging my words and thoughts with your word and thoughts. I'm merging, I'm putting them together. We are becoming one. And becoming one in mind is very important. A lot of people, all they do is sleep with each other, and then they don't know each other very well. Then they are shocked that the other person is dating somebody else, or that this other person is not faithful. Why? Because he's chatting with 10 people. What did I say about chat? When you are chatting, you can chat with 20 people. You can be chatting. Some people, they meet the girl via chat, they will invite her over via chat, then they will sleep with her, and then after that, they will stop chatting. So basically, it's just there was no voice. When you hear people's voice, you hear their nuances. You can know when they are sincere, when they are not sincere, when they are joking, when they are serious, when they are angry. You will hear the tone of the voice. You will hear the texture of the voice. You would hear the underpinning impulses of the voice. You will hear irony. You will hear sarcasm when you are listening to somebody's voice. You can easily tell when somebody is unhappy. Say, there, I want to quickly go to church. I like to take the car. Say, but I told you before that I'm taking the car out. But I will not take long. I will soon be back. You say, okay. And then you see that she will drop the key and she will go and she will not take the car. Then you say, but he said, okay. I said, no, I could hear in his voice that he's not pleased. We didn't say, don't take it, but you could hear that he's not pleased. You say, this guy is going to be angry with this thing. Don't let me take the car. And then you go, you come back. And then the guy will have come back. And then there'll be no fight. because you are showing that you understand each other. You come back and he says, how was church? Say, Kinika, I realized that if I took the car, you'd be angry. He said, yes, now, because I've already told you before. And so how did you manage? Oh, Baraminga dropped me off. Okay, that's good. Then come Baraminga, say, hi, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Okay, bye-bye. And then that is essence of communication. Nowadays, communication became so shallow. People will rather communicate by watching screens than by talking to each other. I usually go on dates with my wife, and when we go on dates, I'll be observing couples in the restaurant. I'll be observing them. They will come in looking so good. The girl will have dressed up. The guy would have dressed up. They sit at the table, they order their food, then they pick phone. I mean, they pick up their phones and they begin to chat with only God knows what. See, the essence of having a date is to close out the world and be with each other. See what? They brought the world in. That something was so important that they must have that phone and they must be on and they must chat. Some, if they are not chatting, they'll be on Instagram, they'll be watching reels. And you are with this guy. You didn't start a conversation. You didn't start a conversation. You came for a date. They will sit down. They will eat. This one will eat. This one will eat. Exchange 2 or 3 words. Then they will stand up. They will leave, probably to go sleep with each other. And I used to wonder, okay, no communication here. No margin of the minds. Every crazy thought in this guy's head that this lady is supposed to hear now. You know, like if you're having a conversation with somebody, you will hear the person say, if a woman tries that with me, I will cut off her head. You'll be like, hey. But because you didn't have a conversation, you will not hear his thoughts, who he is, who we are is in our words. You will not hear it. Because you are chatting and you are seeing a guy, you are looking at the body, you have not checked out what is the content of the soul. You, you, and the soul is where the real Magi is. You want to know the content of his heart, of his feeling, of his reaction. You want to know what tests him, what what makes him happy, and what gets him angry. You want to know him. So what are you doing with your phone on a date? See people on their phone. Cha, 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 cha. I'll be like, talk to each other. Sometimes I go meet them. I'll say, hi, please, can you do me a favor? Can you please talk to each other? Please, can you talk to each other? Whoa, why are you pressing phone? Even husband and wife, like they are already married, don't press your phone on your dates. Drop the phone. Look at each other's eyes. There are other things to play with. When you are looking at each other's eyes, you will say, in fact, sometimes the things you don't plan to say as a husband that you have said, I'm not going to tell my wife. When you are on a date and both of you sit down, you are looking at each other, eating, and you are just making small talk, you just see your mouth open and you say, you know what? Do you know that last week when I said I was actually going to Ibadan, I picked up my mom and we had a discussion. Say, hey, so mom is around, yes, but I thought I won't tell you because you didn't spend long. You just realize that you begin to talk the things you've not said before, you begin to share because you had a silent moment together when you are trying to build intimacy. You are trying to build togetherness as a husband and wife. So why would you go with your phone? Except for emergency that, okay, maybe you left children at home and babysitter calls or something. You do not need your phone on a date. No, you must have them. You must go out. You must go out, husband and wife. You must go out. There are so many classes of restaurants all over that you do not have to say, I want to go to this particular one because it's expensive. No, there are places that you can afford. Everybody here, there's a place you can afford where you can sit down with each other and spend time and talk and get away from the usual environment where you are and have discussions. It's also another culture we don't have here, which is not so good. A lot of people think it's a waste of money. No, again, that's poverty. Yeah, it's a waste of money. You go and eat there, they sell their plate of rice and kidney for 10,000. Do you know how many cups of rice have you cooked? Poverty. No, that's poverty. So oftentimes the value that you gain in going out once a month, twice a month as a couple, what you gain from going out like that, the sanity, the love, the bonding it gives you, you cannot quantify it with money. It helps you to unbundle, it helps you to make peace and all that. So the psychology of it, you must not allow a man to see you as a parasite, and you must not allow a woman to see you as a perpetual host. In a relationship, both of you are equals, and that is the truth. In a marriage, however, so I'm now moving to the context of marriage. While you are both equals in in the relationship, you are both equals. In a marriage arrangement, the husband is the head. Now, of course, a lot of people say, oh, that means the woman is subjugated. No, 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 no. Most women know that when we talk all this submission talk, that's not really how the dynamics of their marriage work. So when people are talking and they're arguing, I usually wonder, why are we always doing hypothetical rubbish? Even the people that are married, when the topic is submission, you will see them talking. But I know their marriages, and I know that is not how their marriages work. So I'm wondering, okay, so why is everybody just foaming in the mouth for real? Like, this is not how your marriage is. You and your husband, you have a very good relationship. I know you. Your husband is not somebody that insists that you must kneel down or roll on the floor, and you are not. So why is it that when they talk of submission, you come out to say no, the Bible does not that. What is always wrong with us and alternate theories that are not proven in real life? What is the problem with that thing? That thing is a problem. Someone that's enjoying a happy home, a good husband, is here writing rubbish about submission. For God's sake, the happy home she's enjoying with her husband, she's quite submissive there, but not submissive in a denigrating manner. You know that for two to work together, there has to be this agreement. It doesn't have to be defined as submission or oppression. It's just that, okay, both of us are together, we are working things. You come in, hi there, I want to do this, oh, I want to do that, oh, I don't want to do this, I want to do that. You have conversations, you know each other. That's how most of the marriages, that's how they work. Only a very few marriages work in such a manner that, of course, I've seen such marriages before. I saw one in London, and I saw one also in Nigeria where the man would tell the woman that if you serve me food, you must kneel down, right there. I looked at him and said, I said, this is not submission because that culture is not biblical. The culture of kneeling down is not biblical. This is culture. So don't put it under Christianity, put it aside. Just say you want to practice traditional Yoruba culture of 1945. So all of us know that that's what you want to practice, but don't put it under, because the guy is a pastor, don't put it under Christianity. Because again, most of the things we put under Christianity, we then want to showcase them in the guise of culture. That's rubbish. Christianity is not Yoruba culture. It's not Igbo culture. It's not Hausa culture. Christianity came with its own culture. We have a culture of the kingdom. And so, if the culture of the kingdom is universal, when you travel abroad and you see a white couple, for example, you don't see the white wife kneeling down to serve her husband food. You see both of them washing plates together. Both of them are making money. Sometimes the man is the one that is making the more money. And yet, when they come to the table, the wife will do the cooking most of the time. All of them will come to the table, they will take their plate, they will serve, they will pass the plate around. That's their culture, they will eat. When they are done eating, they'll pack the plate to the kitchen. Husband and wife will stay, they will wash together. Sometimes they wash, while we talk the children into bed. They don't have the culture of kneel down and somersault. well, you are bringing culture. I'll say, no, 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 no. If you are going to be Christians, then you have, the Bible says, according to Revelation chapter 5, that God has given Jesus a nation, a kingdom, and that kingdom, it came from all tribes, all languages, all creeds. And they have become a kingdom, we have become a kingdom of our God and His Christ. And it is not Yoruba culture, it's not Igbo culture, it's not Hausa culture. So when you are practicing Christianity, you must not mix it with your traditional culture and then be claiming that that is Christian. I saw there was a young man, some people here will remember, he came from a church in the East. God, God worked with me to help him out of a problem. He had a son that had cancer, and the boy was supposed to die, but God rescued the boy from death. And so this guy flew all the way from Anambra to come and see me in Lagos. And so we were having a meeting, I think convention, one of the conventions we had at a church in Surulere. And this young man came, and when he saw me, he went on his knees and he held my leg. And I was so embarrassed because I do not have that kind of, I know some religious people have that kind of, it is not Christian. That thing, that hubris is rubbish. It's not Christian. So I told him, I said, stand up, we don't do that. Stand up, hold me. It's one of the reasons why when I pray with people, I tell them not also to stand, not to kneel down. It's for that reason. Because a lot of people basically take people kneeling down before them as a sign that they are superior. I do not see myself as superior to anybody. The relationship we have as Christians, if you understand the relationship between Jesus and the church, you understand why the Bible says we are joint heirs, which means we have equal rights, we have equal authority, we have equal everything on paper. But if I enter a room now, I just enter a room, you will see the difference between the two of us. If I enter a room, all the walls will not be screaming, the land will not be shaking, the hair will not suddenly turn into music. Let Jesus enter a room. See Jesus, watch him enter any place. By the time you will hear the words singing from afar, and both we have equal right now. Maybe we have equal right. We are joint heirs. It means Jesus has 100%, I have 100%. All of us are joint heirs, and yet you can see the difference between him and I when it comes to the manifestation of our station in him. And that's exactly how a marriage is. Husband and wife are joint. They have joint ears, they have equal rights, but in its manifestation, the husband takes the lead. Now, it doesn't matter here whether the wife is making more money or whether the wife is older or all that one is again irrelevant. So if anybody wants to be married, these are the things to consider. Once you are a wife, you are not, you have taken the role of somebody under a husband. It is a deliberate role you took. You cannot bring the dictates of being a woman into wifehood. You see, again, both of you are working in the same office, you are colleagues, you are even the boss. He has no authority over you. He cannot ask you to be submissive to him. You both have to do your work. You see how that is? That is woman, man equals. Once the woman then says, I want to be married, you must not bring woman into this. You must bring wife. You will wear the toga of wife and be a wife. You see, when you both go to church, you are on cut stone. So both of you will worship God as individuals. You will not be the kind of wife that will be you'll be watching husband, you'll be monitoring him. Is he praying? Is he clapping his hand? My husband, is he closing his eyes? That's not your duty. He will serve God and you will serve God. So a lot of people, now I'm going to the spirituality of it, a lot of people misunderstand the spirituality of marriage. A lot of pastors enjoy teaching certain things that they shouldn't teach on the issue of marriage because many of them don't even understand it. They will tell you that God is the one that will choose a wife for you. God, God will choose a wife. That's a lie. Then they will tell somebody who has not been hearing from God for several years that that you should go and ask from the Lord. that God will tell him who he will marry. God has zero business in picking a spouse for you. That's the truth. Why? The moment he gave you the Holy Ghost and you begin to walk with the Holy Spirit, you begin to walk with discernment. When I hear people say, God gave her to me, God gave him to me, basically they are saying, they are not basically, they are saying and they are not saying. They are saying that they consulted with God before they chose the person they married. That's what they are saying. Nobody can say that God brought this woman and God gave him to me. There's no example of that in the whole of Bible since the day of Abraham, Adam, and Ish and Isha, the first man and the first woman. That was the only time that God brought a woman to a man. And that boomeranged. And so, because we are forced to embrace a spirituality that is not real, the spirituality of marriage, in which you say you are choosing a wife by divine ordinance, is actually a lie. That all the basis of it is a lie. The structure of it is a lie. The preaching, all the sermons on it is a lie. All. Because it is not true. That's an alternate reality of wishful thinking that many people have built into doctrine. It is absolute rubbish. That's not true. I'm saying it now. So, because a lot of couples will reach out to me and then they will say, God gave me this woman. This woman has been the devil of my life. She destroyed my life. But I knew I prayed and God gave her to me. I'm just looking at them. See, in my head, I'll be thinking, look at the irony. The Bible says every good and perfect gift comes from God. This woman or this man has beaten you blue black. He has almost killed you twice. I had to come rescue you. And you are here telling me God gave you to him. What? Why are you lying to yourself? God didn't give you this man. You chose this man. And the examples are in the Bible. Marriages are not the purveyor of heaven. They are an earthly thing. Jesus said so. He said there is no marriage in heaven. There is no example of marriage in heaven. Angels don't get married. God is not married. Ministering spirits are not married. Marriage is between men. It's an horizontal institution. Which was why when they were going to find a wife, a husband for Ruth, it was the elders at the city gate that did the signing off, the arrangement. Which is why in every culture, they have people they call marriage brokers. They have alarino in Yoruba land. They have people ask questions in the East. Because every culture understood that marriage is a cultural thing, a traditional thing, a human thing. It is not divine. There's nothing divine about it. It is an affair of men, as in absolutely an affair of men, marriage. A lot of Christians have been taught that, oh, you must seek the face of God. God will be the one to bring your partner. God will give it to me. I've heard sermons upon sermons upon sermons from men of God that I love, from men of God that I respect, and there is no biblical basis for this teaching. Because that will be done on earth as it is in heaven, you see. So the things that are not done in heaven, why, why are you bringing them into the purview of the kingdom on the earth? So therefore, when it comes to marriage, managing relationships with your in-laws, for example, with your pastors in church, with your co-workers, with people around you, is very important. All these relationships contribute to your marriage, all of them. So if you're at war with your mother-in-law as a man or as a woman, you're at war with your father-in-law as a man, as a woman, you're at war with your own parents as a man, as a woman, it speaks volume as to the kind of character you really are and the kind of backing or confidence your partner will have in you. You know, your partner looks at you, your partner says, I love him, but my father does not love him. My mother does not love him. He's fighting with my brother. He does not greet his father. He does not greet his mother. He does not greet his cousin. He's fighting everybody, but I love him. So what am I loving? If we want to go for family function, he will not show up. My family cannot delight in him. I look like a disappointment to them. You see, already you forget that those are the things that basically add a certain level of strength to your marriage. That you are in good terms with your in-laws, that your wife can call your mother mommy without pretending, and that you can call your wife's mother mommy without, without having a bitter taste in your mouth. That your mother-in-law can call you and you can easily respond to her without feeling any form of resentment. That you can integrate the two families together and be one with everybody knowing their boundaries. It is very key. And all this will help your home if you would do it the proper way. If you refuse to do it the proper way, you don't integrate anybody, you isolate, you are trying to drive everybody away from your partner. A lot of couples do this. So we'll talk about this a bit more tomorrow. A lot of couples do this. They allow their insecurity because they love somebody. They cannot allow somebody else to love the person. Even the person's mother, the person's father, the person's brother, the person's sister, the person's friend. They do not understand that kind of the love of a snake. You know, before a snake will kill its prey, it will first embrace it. A snake will coil around it. That's the love of a snake. It would isolate it, coil around it, and then it will smother it to death. It would strangulate it to death and then eat it. That's the kind of embrace some of us have. Some of us, we say we love our partner. And then once somebody agrees to be with you, you love the person loves you. Yeah, as soon as the person agrees to be your girlfriend or to be your boyfriend or to be your husband or to be your wife, you immediately develop insecurity. Immediately. You become everybody around the person, you just want them to go away. I remember a brother of mine dated a lady, and the lady said to him that we will leave town. We are going to be living on a farm. Like he wants to carry this brother into a farm somewhere in Akure to be living away from everybody. I said, what kind of love is this? Your love does not want people around. It is insecurity. If you notice you have insecurity, don't go into relationships yet. Start with friendship, not friendship with your own gender. Start with friendship. Be deliberate about it, not be deliberate. Because you know you are battling jealousy, insecurity, you shouldn't be having relationships until you are sure that you have healed. 99% of the time, what destroys marriages nowadays is insecurity. I told the lady, why are you checking your husband's phone? She said, we are now one. So because we are one, we should be checking the other phone. I said, no, absolutely no. Because some of us, the things we do can cost us our life in other crimes. Imagine that you are dating somebody who works for CIA or for DSS in Nigeria, and you have insecurity, and you are touching their phone anyhow. One day you will see something, you will just see a bullet in your head. Because you will see things you are not supposed to see, and those are not the things you are searching for. Don't be putting your nose everywhere, thinking that it is. If you are in a relationship and you are not secure, don't marry the person. Keep away from such a marriage. Keep it, run. You must be secure in your love. I must be so secure in your love that my ears, my eyes, they are on you. You are the fairest of all in my heart, in my disposition towards you. And that is also my disposition towards you. I find it belittling and beneath me in life to ever take anybody's phone and check it. I find it to be the moment I can never do it, but not out of pride, just that it, it would mean to me, it would seem to me the moment I do that, that I have lost all the values that I can offer a person and I'm at their mercy. And I will never be at anybody's mercy. No, 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 no. I'm sufficient in Christ. Uh, since years ago, I used to say of myself over and over before the Lord when I'm praying, I will say, Lord, you are going to make me independent of circumstances in such a way that I can abase and abound without being at anybody's mercy. I will not be at the mercy of my wife. My wife will not be at my mercy. I will not begin to feel insecure, check phone. I will not act like the sons of men. I am the royal priesthood. 99% of the time, when the dangers of insecurity begins to rear its head, it will lead to mistrust. It will lead to accusations, false accusations. In fact, sometimes let's even say that okay, maybe the partner did something that he or she is not supposed to do, or have as a conversation, or even the extreme. Let's say the partner cheated. A secure person will forgive easily. It's not that the person will not be hurt. The person will like, I didn't believe you can do this. But okay, how can we work it out? You see, an insecure person, that thing will torture the person. If suspicion has been disturbing the person before, one evidence, the person will now go off rails. That marriage will then become irreparable. Why? Because the person will not be able to let it go. The person will say, that was how in 1982. So have I not seen the evidence of you before? You would then see it. That's because no love can thrive under that kind of atmosphere. Even you cannot thrive if somebody keeps accusing you over and over and over again. That even when maybe the person changed his ways, still the person cannot have any form of rest. See the challenge. All right. So it is important that you take away every kind of insecurity. You must, if this person has deemed you worthy of love, and you have deemed this person worthy of love, and you have both of you have said that you want to be together, you must allow that the sanctity of that relationship to hold you and to hold you accountable. If a husband begins to spy on the wife begins to spy on the husband, that is no longer a marriage. And a lot of men, insecure people, many men would think it is normal. It is not. It is not. It is a psychological issue, a psychiatric issue. I can easily dovetail into something else in future. It doesn't get better. So, which was why I said everybody, male, female, if you ever find yourself in a relationship and you begin to doubt your sanity, you are afraid all the time that the person will leave you, that relationship is not good for you. You shouldn't be in a relationship where the person is so beneath you that if the person left you, it will not hurt you. That is also a bad relationship. You must be in a well-balanced relationship, a well-balanced marriage where both of you are comfortable and confident in each other. And you know you got each other's backs. 100%. You have each other's backs. Because the world will come charging. And you must have this person in your corner. And if ever this person is not in your corner, if ever this person is not in your corner, you'll find yourself isolated and you have nobody to be your advocate, to fight for you, to stand in the gap, to go all out, to go all out, to fight for you. I mean this with all my heart. That was the day I got in trouble years ago. I wanted to drive into Magodo Gate 2 in Lagos, and I didn't have their sticker. So there was one security man I used to talk to because of the traffic around Shangisha. He would just allow me pass. So this day, I got into that gate, and the security man their boss was there, and they said I should park. They were going to harass me, maybe seize my car or something like that and make me pay. I didn't have money to pay. So I sped off. And then they began to chase me with their security car. This was years ago. And eventually, I had to just park because, okay, where was I going? And they said, oh, today we are going to deal with you. We are going to. And I just picked my phone. I mean, if you should have that person in your corner. I didn't know any policeman. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody at the time. Just picked my phone, called my wife. That was all. By the time the IRS and police and everybody arrived, everybody was like, who is this guy? Because again, you see now, it is important that you have somebody in your corner who will not be asking you, did you do it? Did you not do it? The person just believed in you. This is my husband. This is my wife. First and foremost, this is my wife. Every other thing does not matter. This is my wife. I will first get my wife out of this situation, right? And then we can go home and talk about it. You see, I'll first get my husband out of this situation, and then I will go home and talk about it. That is the kind of person you want to be married to. Somebody that is blind to reason and to logic when it comes to you. Just the person is wholly devoted to your welfare. That's who you want in your corner. And that's who you should be to that person. So again, when the couple are together and the wife is like that to the husband, but the husband is not like that to the wife feels as if he doesn't love her enough. So you side with the world against me. You take sides with others against your all. And that means there's something wrong in their relationship. If anybody would harass my wife in this world, the person should be ready for the whole wrath that I can bring. And if anybody should bless my wife, the person should be ready for the whole blessing that I can bring, because that's how it will be. And I do not expect at any time that my wife would then say to people, hey, what did you do? Hey, take him. Take him. It's not his first time. No, I would expect that regardless of whatever anybody may tell my wife in this world, that my wife will say, this is my husband. And that is enough. That is enough. That it is me and my wife against the world. If you cannot love somebody that way, if the person you are with now, you do not love the person that way, you should sit down and reevaluate. You should sit down and say, why don't I love my wife this way? Why is it that my wife will not be at home uh, at a certain time and I will not even bother? I won't even call. you know, because of course your relationship over the years will dictate or determine how you relate with each other. But of course, as a husband, you know that you are doing spy, but you got home, your wife did not leave you a note, did not drop a message, you slept, you woke up, you are watching TV or you are watching sports, and then your husband comes home 2 a.m. and then she told you, oh, there was a riot. And you're like, hey, sorry. She should be the first person to call you that. Can you come and pick me? Something is going on. Hey, that's a husband and a wife. If your wife cannot call you and you cannot call your wife, then you must sit down and say, hey, we have a lot of repairing to do in this marriage. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. We have hurt each other so much that we have grown numb to each other. We have grown numb. We have lost the very essence of being in each other's corner, of cheering each other on, of standing by each other, of facing the world together and prevailing. We have lost that essence, and we need to get it back. We need to get it back. So those are the basics that you need to work on as married couple. Communication, affection. You must kill resentment completely. There are a lot of negative words that we say to ourselves. Maybe we are angry, maybe somebody did something not so wise and all that. But you must wipe the slate clean every night. I cannot imagine seeing my wife and not seeing her as an improvement on yesterday. But when I see her, I tell myself, I've been in that shoes before, so I know. You tell yourself, why did God give me this kind of person? And that's not where you want to be in your life, where every time you see your wife or your husband, you are thinking, who did I offend that God will use this person to come and punish my destiny? That means you are in a very terrible place. That's where I'm going to conclude. If you are in a terrible place where there is no room for repair, you are in a relationship or marriage, especially if you are in a marriage and there is no room for repair. Don't forget, I spent like 1 hour 45 minutes talking about things that you must do to improve and things you must do to make your marriage better. So I'm going to spend 10 minutes and talk about this. You find yourself unable to repair this marriage. A lot of people around you have tried to help the two of you, but they couldn't. You have done everything in your power, either you are male or female, done everything within your power to find a compromise, to make things right, to adjust, and nothing is working. And you are very sure you've given it your all, your best, not not anything that is on the surface. You have spent and you have expended everything, and yet it seems, oh my God, this thing is going nowhere. Sit down, make an evaluation. Not build a case against your partner. That's not what I said. I said make an evaluation. That is, okay, what are the things I have done here that I think I've done right? What are the things that I am not doing right, that I have improved upon? Look at it. What am I doing right? What am I not doing right? Write it down. And like I said, don't pick a phone and begin to record and say, he does this, he does this. That is not the way. Right. It is self that you evaluate. Evaluate yourself. Evaluate yourself, your strength in the marriage, your weaknesses, your improvements, the things you cannot compromise on that is asking you to do. You list all of them out. You look at it, you weigh it, and then you tell yourself the truth. Looking at this evidence, should I still stay in this marriage? If your answer to yourself in truth is no, don't behave like many Nigerians would then do and begin to find an escape that they shouldn't be looking for. So a lot of Nigerians would then begin to try to travel abroad. Okay, your marriage is bad. Don't want marriage again. Next thing, but I want to relocate. Relocate to where? I'm going to America. I'm going to London. I want to go to Europe. Why? Because they didn't want a divorce. But they are going to divorce anyway because they may not want a divorce on paper, but it is delusional for you to then run away from your marriage and say, I didn't divorce. Is it God you are going to play that? Is it, do you think God is a foolish God? Do you actually think God is a child? If I know if we have done this thing that are Nigerians, I will know over 200. I will know that it was their marriage that is bad. They are tired of the marriage. And then they'll be treating God as if God is a child, simply because they didn't want, the Bible said no divorce. So they didn't want to actually go through the process and divorce this person. They would then look for this escape. They would then get a ticket and travel. They will move to another country. And when they move to that country, they will not stay there. The other one will be here, they will be there. They will not say, they are technically still married. No, 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 no. You are not married. Dude, when you live like that, when you do not live your life straight, you lose out on the plan of God for your life. So many people that shouldn't have traveled abroad traveled simply because they have a bad marriage. And a sister, maybe she's been on the corner. When she called me, she said, I want to pray for me. I want to go and prepare for my visa. I said, where are you going? She said, I'm traveling abroad. I said, no, your marriage is bad. She said, yes. I said, so deal with the marriage that is bad. What do you mean you are traveling? She said, what will I say? But if I travel, nobody will question me. I said, my God. What kind of thinking? Like you so much want to escape taking responsibility for your life that you are basically running away from everything you've built in your life to go to a strange land simply because you do not want to be accountable to say, okay, I messed up here. This is the thing. It didn't work. And you stand by the consequence. That is not the right way to live. Face it. This is it. Tell yourself the truth. It is good for you. It's a bitter pill, but bitter pills are good. Take a bitter pill, sit down, say, I made the wrong choice. I chose to be here. Now that I am here, I cannot but look at my journey and say to myself, this journey is not going anywhere. I need to back out now when I can still salvage something for my destiny. Then you back out and you do it properly. I mean, so that you will not say Balabinga is speaking in parable. You get a divorce. You do it properly. You go through the process. You talk to the children. You do everything you ought to do. It is very important that you do things properly. That you don't do it with rancor, with anything. That you don't just allow life to happen to you, or that you are one of those who will say, she must fight first. I must fight first. And then you will now spend 10 years in a legal marriage when both of you are living apart. And then you now meet somebody else you want to marry. You will now not be able to marry the person because you didn't conclude that chapter. Don't be like that. It is your life. You are going to live this one lifetime. This is your life. Don't allow conditioning of religious people, especially the conditioning of Africans by white people who brought Christianity to Nigeria, that they saw the way Africans were and they felt they needed to organize a society. And this is written in history books. And they went to sit down and they said, okay, these are the rules we are going to give these people we are colonizing. And they went to write the rules and they attached it to religion. They gave priests and pastors the order to preach it. And then suddenly it became your own culture. Do not allow it to destroy your life. Anybody that is educated, that can read beyond just the letters of scripture, understands the role that colonialism played, religion played in colonialism. And that many of us are falling for it, and I will see educated people, so-called very intelligent people, who will be so who have been so brainwashed by white people's order, and they are now like, oh no, don't be, don't be. That is not the tenet of scripture. Do not allow anybody's conditioning and indoctrination to steal away your destiny. If you walk out of a bad marriage on time, you can still have an opportunity to have a good marriage, to remarry, to then fulfill destiny. You still have the opportunity if you take away all the sentiments and you do it properly. Tomorrow by 10 a.m., we'll come and discuss the second aspects of the class. Today's class was deliberate in that I wanted you to hear from me and then begin to seek clarity in your relationships and with yourself. You must tell yourself the truth. Am I the one in the wrong in this marriage? What have I been doing wrong? How can I do it right? If you have weaknesses that you think, this is a weakness, you can discuss it with your partner. This is your ride and leave. When it comes to this thing, I have a weakness. When it comes to that thing, I have a weakness. On that, you can pray. You can then put practical steps into place to correct your course. Like I said, it will be very unwise for people that are still struggling to make life together to be bringing in third-party issues, extramarital issues into a marriage where both of them are struggling to survive, where they are struggling to make money, where both of them are putting 100%. It is a very disheartening thing. This is what breaks most people's heart the most. That you and I had an agreement. We are both working. I'm working 10 hours. I'm taking shifts. You're working 10 hours. You're taking shifts. And we are making money. And out of that money, you are not being accountable. You are still keeping something aside for your own selfish. That hurts. Don't be that kind of person. Be committed to the cause. Grow with your partner. Do things in common. Show the love. Don't just profess it. And when you do that, you will build a foundation of trust so strong. Your children will come into it and they will thrive. And the people around you will begin to see that it is possible for Christians to marry and love each other the right way. Before you commit yourself to marriage, ask yourself essential questions. Do I have the mindset? Do I have the training? Do I have the ability to be married? Because a lot of people don't. Now, if you don't have that ability, please stay single. Stay single. We are going to discuss more of this tomorrow. There is no crime in it. Staying single. There's no crime in it. If you know yourself and you do what is right by you, you will see that you will fulfill your destiny and you will do it without stress and you will do it without injuring other people's destinies. But if you insist that I just want to be married, I just want to be married, when you do not have the capacity for it, not only will you hurt yourself, you are going to hurt other people. Sometimes we even have children, and the children are going to then grow up broken and traumatized because you made a choice that you shouldn't have made. It is important that you do the self-evaluation before you decide, okay, I'm fit for marriage, I can deal with this. And then you find somebody with whom you can live that life. And if the person is also of the same persuasion as you will see that you have a good marriage and marriage will work. All the things that you are not supposed to do anymore that I've listed, listen again and stop them. And the things you need to start thinking of, begin to think of them. You are going to have a blessed home. You are going to have a happy marriage. Finally, I know some people sent in questions today. I'm going to ask you to send more because you've listened to this class. We are going to take bulk of the questions on Sunday. Today, tomorrow, we are going to have classes like this. On Sunday, we'll do Q&A. So any scenario that you might want me to address, any situation that you might want me to address, or any case, please reach out, send the questions. I will pray, I will look at them, we will come, we will discuss them. Like I said, we will prefer solutions. We are not just going to give this kind of advice, that kind of advice. We are going to be brutal, we are going to be candid, and at the end of the day, it will serve you right and serve you well to be able to move on in life and have the clarity that you desire. I want to thank everybody for showing up. I believe that this class has been a blessing unto you. I'll see you 10 a.m. tomorrow for the second session of the class. Glory to God for all the things that He has done for us and through us. If you are blessed by the class, those who can unmute, I'd like you to unmute and shout, Glory.
Glory!